Going up for 2.
We don't need cash. We just need your bank account.
Yeah. Zell, your number.
You want the one that has 10 cents in it?
One square left. Anybody want it?
Okay, I want it.
You want it? Okay, we're sold out.
Look at that. Yay.
So, I'm gonna open an escrow because that's gonna bring me a blessing.
There we go.
What you put in the world, you get back.
Use that.
Yes.
It's like primary.
So, and I'm gonna invite you to lunch, JD, with that transaction.
Oh.
All right. So today's Friday, day 5 of Ignite. Everyone look to your left. Now look to your right.
Spinning out.
And this is the group that's going to make it. Because every time we do Ignite, this happens. Every single time. We thin out. Because people realize that they don't want to do it. They don't want to learn. They don't want to make money. They don't want to be successful. And it's not like an inside joke. We talk about this pretty openly. Is when we see the new group come in, we always know the ones that are going to work, make it happen, and the ones that won't. Every single time we do Ignite, we have somebody talking over here, so. I like to give Andrew trouble. Every time we do Ignite, though, we know the group is going to make it and be successful in this business, or at least make it and get through that first bit, and we see the group that doesn't. And it's the people that show up and form relationships, and they try to do something to make it work. They might not do everything right, but at least they keep going and they keep trying. And it's easy to spot. It really is. We get a lot of new people every year. On average, we bring in to this company about 120 to 130 new agents. Not new, but agents that are in the business and or new. And of those group, besides the ones that are already pretty successful, we probably about 20 of them stick around and actually do really well. In fact, the year before brought in 136 new agents, and we were still negative in agent count. So many new people leave. So many new people, right? If we bring in 120 to 130 new people, we should have like 1,000 people in this office, right? It's the 80-20 principle, what we talked about yesterday. The 20% of the new that come in will stick around, and a lot of people will fade out over time because it's difficult. It's difficult to grow the business and do that. I'm going to shut the door because I'm easily distracted and I hear stuff and I'm like, that's better. All right. So how's Ignite been going so far? Amazing? What's been your favorite class so far? You've done Spark Your Careers, Embrace Your Job, Connect with the Market, and Define Your Value. Which one's been your favorite so far?
I cannot choose and pick. Every class has been amazing.
That's like a politician. Who's your favorite?
Embrace Your Job was great because it forced you to make your calls and get back in action.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily forced you, but you don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah? You don't love it?
For me, define your value.
Uh-huh.
Because I used to leverage that I am from Keller Williams, right?
Yeah.
But yesterday, class of yesterday, just opened my mind more like, oh, yes.
We all have value.
Yes.
Yep. And when we're newer, sometimes we feel like, oh, my value is not going to be as good because I don't know. And I guarantee you the best service I ever gave was to my first client ever. I would put money on it because I was terrified I was going to screw something up. So I double checked with everything. I was like on top of everything. I did everything wrong. My first transaction, I sent all the seller the disclosures. You don't do that. The seller sends you the disclosures. I didn't know. I just jumped on. We had a thing called SkySlope at the time. We didn't have command. And it showed you the documents that required. So I just started looking them up, grabbing them, and having my buyer sign them. I didn't know what I was doing. The listing agent was like, we normally send these to you. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't have a mentor. I was by myself. I was trying to figure it out. Gloria wasn't helping me. She was like, no, you can do it. I'm just kidding. Gloria would have helped me.
Trying to talk to me.
I'm teasing. One thing, I'm a lot of things. One of them is not shy. Like, I have no problem. I asked everybody. I probably did ask Gloria quite a few times. Gloria, help me.
Nothing never did.
All right, so we like to find our value. We like to connect with the market. Awesome. Well, today will be your favorite because just kidding. I'm just teasing. Honestly, though, everyone brings their own opinion and their own thing to the class. So take what the presenters are giving you. Some of the stuff is going to be really impactful. They might do things a little different. Might be a little different. That's okay. One thing I don't have is the book in front of me. So if I skip something that looks important, raise your hand and ask questions on it. I've taught all these a bunch of times. Normally I have the book just as a reference. Is this it?
Yeah.
That looks too skinny to be it. Is this it? Oh, this is it. Cool. Thank you. I just don't want to skip anything that looks important. Generate your leads, number 5. But I also don't want to just read from the book and bore you guys. So I'll go off on tangents and we'll make it fun.
5.2.
All right, there we are. Okay, so the first part about today's agenda is you, the lead generator. Lead generation, to me, when we first talked about it, when I first was getting into real estate, was kind of like a scary term. I was like, what does that mean? And I had an aha in a class once when this was outside of this office. It was at an international office. And someone kept calling it an opportunity creating. I'm like, opportunity creating, that's an interesting way to frame it. And he's like, I don't like lead generation because I don't really do that. Because I just create opportunities. And I like that a little bit better because really everything in life is an opportunity when you meet people and if you think of it in that direction. I'll give a little example. My first year of real estate, my wife came to me and said, hey, Garrett, let's do this marriage thing at the church with married couples. And I was like, I don't want to share my feelings with a bunch of strangers. That sounded terrible to me. It's bad to say. Just kidding, babe, if you're watching. I love you.
I'm here.
I got a rat over here. She'll tell her. She knows my wife. I'll know if she finds out. We know it's Patricia.
You know who was it?
We know.
Yeah.
But I remember, honestly, it's bad. It's bad. I should have been very positive about it. But I was just thinking, I'm a dude. I don't want to do that. I'd rather watch football or something. No, man stuff, yeah. And I thought, you know what? It'll be a good way where I might meet some people, and that might help my real estate business. I kid you not, I thought that, and that's bad. I should have been like, you know what? This would be great for my marriage, and this is what's important. No, I was like, maybe it'll help my real estate business. I did think that, and so we went, and to be honest, it was really fun. It was a really good group of people. There was 7 husbands, wife, 3 younger couples, similar age, with similar kids. Similar things, and there were good people, and it was actually pretty fun. We made it a good time out of it. That group made me over $70,000 over the lifespan, for sure. For sure. I never once went into that group and said, oh, I'm a realtor. I want to be your realtor. Never, ever, ever. It was all genuine, and we went in there, we met everyone, we talked about, what do you do? And they said, what do you do? I do real estate. Oh, cool. We talked. One husband and wife in that group, I helped them that year sell their home, buy another home, and then a couple years later, sell their home to move out of the area, and then sell their grandparents' home. It's 4 from 1. Another one helped move out of the area, right? And those 6 deals, those were good homes, 5 deals, whatever it was probably around $70,000 from that group, right? The funny thing about that is, Gloria will know, but there was a top producer in this office who moved to Georgia. His name was Mike Benowitz. He did a ton of business in this office. He was always in the top 5. He's a really great guy, really involved with cares. He was a giant about this tall, and he was a sweetheart, really great guy. His daughter was in that group with his son-in-law. And one day he came and he goes, you gotta stop taking all my business. And I was laughing. He was out of love. He's really, honestly, the sweetest guy. And I was laughing. I was like, oh, I'm just better than you. What can I say? And he teased me about it, right? But that was an opportunity that was created out of a circumstance. I'd be honest. I'm glad I went. It was really fun. It was good for our marriage, and it was good. Nothing wrong about it at all. but I didn't want to go. I had not a lot of desire to do that. So everything can be an opportunity everything's an opportunity, right? So we just have to think about that. If you were here for wealth building, we talked about when you start thinking in possibilities and you start thinking in ways to make money and grow your future, you start seeing opportunities around you, right? And that you have to think that in real estate. Everything is an opportunity, right? Now, if you're like the person's like, hi, I'm a realtor, come use me. Hi, I'm a realtor, I'm going to use you. You're going to turn off a lot of people, right? You do need to do it in a smart way, where you just ask them a lot of questions about them, and guess what? They're going to ask about you, because that's human nature. They say, hey, how are you? How are your kids? How's everything going? How's your job going? How's work? What are they going to ask and respond? How are your kids? How's your job going? Right? And then you just need to be pretty competent in what you're saying about real estate. Real estate's great. I've been loving it. I love, helping people buying homes and really getting into this investment stuff and helping people find investment properties for cash flow to set them up for the future. Whatever it is that you do, it's all an opportunity in how you do it. Make sense? So we're going to do the lead generator, you, and then we're going to look at the lead generation model. What does it look like to have a lead generation model? There's 4 super important models for every realtor's business, right? We have the economic model. That is, I want to make 200 grand. So we need to be able to break that down to how many appointments you need each week. So how do we do that? You probably already did it. It was probably in one of the first classes that you took. But let's say I wanted to sell 20 homes. We just worked that. If I need to make 200 grand, our average sales price is $10,000. I need to sell 20 homes. Just use that for simple math, right? So how do I sell 20 homes? Well, how many buyers and sellers do I want to work with? 50-50, and we break that down all the way to basically needing about 1 appointment every 2 weeks to do that, just based off averages, right? That's our economic model, knowing how much money we want to make and what we have to do to accomplish it. Then we have our lead generation model, which we're going to be talking about today. How do we get those appointments? What are we going to be doing for our lead generation to be able to get those appointments, right? Then we have our budget model, which most of us don't ever think about or do, is how are we going to budget our business? You're business owners. We need to have a P&L. We need to see the money comes in and the money flows out. We need to spend money on our business once we start making money. We need to make it first, but we need to be marketing. We need to be spending money on our business and see what kind of return we get. We need a P&L for that. And then we have our operational model. Most of us as new agents are like, oh, that's for the future. It's good to think about in the future. When do I hire? What does that look like? Who do I hire? How does that flow work for my business? Because eventually I want to have a nice business where I'm the CEO of the company, but then eventually I could actually step away, hire a CEO and run the company and retire and work 4 to 5 hours a week and still sell 300 to 400 homes a year. People are like, that sounds impossible. Well, it's not. A lot of agents have done it. My favorite example is Gene Rivers out in Florida. He comes out and teaches quite a bit. He's a great teacher. He works about 4 to 6 hours a week. He sells about 300 to 400 homes a year because he has a CEO and a great system and team and everything that he's done. And he travels the world and trains. He makes a lot of money. He's great. So it's all possible. All right? And then we're going to look about expanding your SOI, the lead gen best practices, recaps and ahas, and then we'll jump in at the end for some success calls, or the success system is getting into lead gen. We'll talk about it and break you guys off to do what you got to do. And we'll get you out of here on a Friday to get rolling. All right, so let's jump into the lead generator. I love this quote by Gary Keller. He says that my fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating. And fear is the number one cause, I think, for agents not to be successful in this, because they fear of looking stupid, the fear of not knowing, the fear of not knowing they're going to say the right thing, the fear of talking to people, and it prevents us from doing stuff. Typically, the newer agents that come in, or the agents that come in that are most successful, have a much greater fear. If they don't succeed, they will be homeless. They will not have money. And there's no other choice, and they're going to make it work. I think one of the reasons I was successful when I first came in, and I wasn't in a position where, the best way to say this, is I had to be successful, otherwise I was going to have to go get a job I didn't want to get pretty quickly. And I really didn't want to do that because I really wanted to have the freedom. And so I had a ton of fear around lead generating. I had a ton of fear of like how to call and talk to people the right way, and the biggest fear is looking stupid. I hate looking stupid. It's like I really, really, really do not like doing it. So I put this fear of that is there. But then when bills started piling up and credit card debts started happening, I had this major fear of like being a failure, not being successful, and having to go back to a 9 to 5, which I really didn't want to do. Where I was doing like a 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. job, and I hated my life. And so that fear of that would push me forward to find a way to lead generate in a way that I found successful was less scary for me, which built confidence, which then was able to get me on the phones, was then able to get me to talk in front of people, and then it kind of helped grow over time. Make sense? And please interact with me because I don't want to talk for 2 hours. All right, the 6 core competencies of a business. Number 1, you got to lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. Number 2, present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. Number 3, show buyers and market sellers. Number 4, write and negotiate contracts. Number 5, coordinate the sale to closing. Number 6, manage your money. It's pretty simple. That's all it is to real estate, those 6 things. We really do overcomplicate it a lot of the times. At the end of the day, all you're trying to do is get people to appointments so they sign a contract so you can get it on the market or go show homes, and then you get them into escrow. If you have no idea what's going on in escrow, to be honest, you could hire a TC and they'll do most of it for you. And you could not even know what's going on at the end of the day and still make money. In fact, some of the best agents, it pisses off a lot of agents, is they look at these top producers and they're like, they're so dumb, they don't even know this on the contract and they're idiots. I'm like, yeah, but they made like 4 times the amount of money as you. So who's the idiot? Congratulations, you spent all the time dissecting the contract into verbatim, and yet they were out there marketing themselves and made a ton of money. I mean, what's your end goal? Do you want to be the best at contracts, the best negotiator, or you just want to make the most money? If you're best with your clients and giving them a great experience, don't get me wrong, you need to know the contract. You can't be an idiot and get your clients into trouble. But you don't necessarily need to be the, decipher and be able to, cite it off the top of your head and know every little part of the contract and every little detail. The contracts changes every year. And there's probably people in this room that know the contract better than I do. But I don't care. I'm like, whatever, I'll go ask George. You guys call me like, Garrett, I had this thing. I'm like, you know what? Give me a second. Let me figure it out. I call George. Hey, George. Hey, RPA. I called George yesterday, the day before. Yesenia, one of our agents, called me. She's like, hey, I couldn't get a hold of Drew. I have a quick question. I was like, all right, what's up? She's like, I did a request for repair. We did an agreement, and they asked for $10,000 in closing. Then they did a request for the repairs, and they said it was $17,000 in closing. Now they're telling me it's $27,000 in closing. And I was like, no. I'm like, well, how'd you word it? Because wording is important. And she's like, this. I'm like, no, it should be this. I go, you know what? Let me confirm real quick. I'll get right back to you. Hung up. Call George. George, just making sure I'm not an idiot here because it's this, right? He goes, yeah. It's 17. It's not 27. Thanks. Called her back. Yeah, for sure now, right? I don't need to know everything. I just need to know who knows everything, right? Okay, so let's jump into the lead generation fears and myths. I think lead generation is really difficult. I don't have time to lead generate. I don't know what to say. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Which one of these resonate most with you guys?
So, to me is, I got no issue talking to people, right? I got no issue on setting up the time. The only thing that it gets me sometimes is like my mind, I overthink it. What am I going to say if they come up with a question that I don't know
So
exactly?
that one's yours?
Yes.
Who else? What else is your guys'?
I don't know what to say.
You don't know what to say?
I was gonna say I'm afraid of making mistakes.
Making mistakes? Making mistakes? No fear? She's been doing it too long?
For me, it's a little bit complicated because my English is short.
Yeah?
And I'm afraid to talk with people in English. But
Yep.
in Spanish, I really
Yep.
love it.
I
Yep.
can relate to that before.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
I can relate.
I'll be honest, I'd be terrified to speak to someone in Spanish. Like, mi amo Garrett, ¿cuántos años tienes? That's it, that's all I got. That's all I got, that's my Spanish. So, I get it. So, there's, the great thing for you is CAR states that in California, 73% of buyers over the next 3 to 5 years are all going to be Hispanic.
Yes.
So, speaking Spanish is not a disadvantage, or only speaking Spanish. You just have 73% of all the buyers. Me not speaking Spanish is a disadvantage. So go after Spanish speakers, right? And if you happen to come across someone it's a struggle, okay, move on. I mean, yes, it's a good fear though. I totally understand that. For me, it was always making mistakes. Like I already said, I hate looking stupid. You know what helped me do this? Helped me kind of get out of this? Is Gloria knows him, probably only Gloria. There used to be a team leader with me. His name was Adam. And Adam is a great guy. Really enjoyed him. He was a lot of fun. He was more handsome than me, but I was smarter, so we worked out well together. Adam had no fear of making mistakes. At all. He did not care. And we would get on international calls with like the president of the company, with Gary Keller, and he'd be like, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, Adam, you're so wrong. Like, we look so stupid. And it would drive me nuts. And guess what? The president of the company would be like, thanks, Adam. That's not correct, but here's what it is. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then when we're at places, the president of the company would be like, hey, Adam, how are you, man? What's going on? And I'm like, I'm Garrett. Look at me. I'm Garrett.
I work with him.
He had no fear. He didn't care. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he got noticed. And Adam's not here anymore. And I would be like, oh my gosh. And it really did help me realize that it's better it is way better to be noticed and be wrong than not to be noticed at all. And it was I tell him all the time, it was the greatest thing he taught me, right? We taught each other a lot. I was a little bit more business minded, he was more relationship. We actually got hired on that fact. When Amy hired us, she told me that I'm going to struggle relating with people. She's like, I don't think I'm going to be as good, because I'm kind of a high I, high D, and to be honest, it's tiring for me at times, and I try really hard to be so like, hey, like, yeah, I want to talk to everyone, but it wears on me at times. It's not my natural, I love everybody, but it does get tiring at times to have to everybody and always have the smile on and always do it. For Adam, it gave some energy. He had no issue. He loved talking to people, and I knew it, that he was better at it. Amy did the right thing when she hired it, because we had an agent walk into our office one time that we both knew well, and she was talking to us, and he looked at her, goes, how are you? Hey, how are? And he named her 2 kids. And I was like, I didn't know she had 2 kids. And I was like, dang, that's good. That was his skill set. He was just a great relator, great connecting, no fear of making mistakes. I was better on the business side. I was better on some other things that I was better at. He was better at different things. We really did make a good team. But I learned from him is that I have to get over this myself, because it's holding me back, right? I'm good. It's okay to make these mistakes because you're being noticed. They know who you are. They remember you. So I thought that was super, super powerful. Okay, so let's get into some of these truths about our fears and myths. I think lead generation is really difficult, and this one's super true. I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's just not fun. Most of the time, right? It is not hard to go do an open house. You stand there. If you know nothing, you put out 10 signs and you stand in the house. People come in. You got to talk to them. It's not hard. It's boring. Especially getting a house and there's like no Wi-Fi or something. And you're like, oh God, the internet doesn't work and I got no signal. And you're like, I'm here for 3 hours. What am I going to do? You're pacing around the house looking at the same things for like, my wife would call me a creeper, because sometimes she would come by an open house just to like say hi. And I'd be like staring out the window looking for somebody. She's like, I hope you do not do that when people come up. That is so creepy. I was like, there's no internet. I'm so bored. Anyways.
Garrett, have you ever hosted an open house that has like no no heating, like no air conditioning, and like it's cold in the house?
I would try not to, and I would turn on the air, because if you're trying to sell the property, people walk in instantly negative. Like, emotional state makes a lot of difference in the way you think about something. So I would try to crank it up, but I probably have before. I don't know. I locked myself out of an open house once.
Really?
Yeah. And I was super embarrassed because it was like, I got the listing from like a top agent at the time. And I went in there and I opened up the key. I did everything and I went outside, shut the door, and I put the sign up. I came back in, the door was locked. I was like, the key was inside. And I was like, oh no. So I did the responsible thing and I called the agent. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. No, just kidding. I found a window and I opened it up and I crawled through it.
Shut up.
Oh yeah, I found this little window on the side of the house that was open. And I was like, oh my God. And I climbed in
Okay.
and I went and opened the door. And, because I was so embarrassed that I locked myself out.
I used to jump into the windows during the REO market.
Oh yeah?
Because a lot of listeners, they didn't answer the call to get
The key?
code.
Uh-huh.
Because at that time it wasn't obligatory to have the center box. So agents has the combination
Yeah?
lock boxes, and they never answer the phone, they never reply to your text. So the only way to try is to find a window that you can open and go through the window.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
These people still live there, and I'm glad they didn't pull up when I was climbing through their window. Yeah, I did that. Should have done the right thing and took responsibility, but nope. It was probably Gloria's listing. I don't have time to lead generate. I had an issue of making time to lead generate and protecting that time. To be true, especially when we're newer, we got nothing but time. There's really nothing else we should be doing besides learning, especially when we're newer. I don't know what to say. I had to get on the path of mastering the dialogue skills needed in this business, right? So if you don't know what to say, it's typically because we're new, we don't know what's going on, and we're not coming into scripts, we're not coming in watching stuff online. You could spend hours on YouTube watching people lead generate and just watch them do it. See their scripts that they're using and practice it. Really just starting it, just starting the process, Googling the script if you're going to just start cold calling or just start calling your database and just talking and seeing how they're doing. You will develop a skill set over time. It won't be pretty the first couple of times. You just got to keep going. I'm afraid of making mistakes. I found that lead generation is nothing more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented, right? So if you're doing an open house and you're afraid of doing mistakes, it's because you haven't really learned the skills and the tasks that you need to do is documented. Meaning that if you list out a bunch of questions that you do every time someone walks in, you'll feel very comfortable. Those questions will come to you. You can have a clipboard and be like, hi, how are you? And they'll be like, wow, you're reading that. That's kind of weird. But whatever, you'll learn it. What brought you in here today? Awesome. That's so great. Have you guys been looking to buy, just starting your process? No, you're not interested? Leave me alone? Okay, great. I will do. You're in my house. You're in my property. You're going to answer my questions. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so it's really just spending time practicing and doing it. But the challenge here is most of us will want to practice before we even attempt. And we'll want to become masters before we attempt. But we know to master something, it takes 10,000 hours to master it. So if you want to wait 10,000 hours before you feel comfortable, guess what? You're broke. So let's get out there and practice what we're doing and just try it. Believe it or not, most conversations are really easy. You're not getting these crazy, off the wall things. I mean, I got my first open house was a doozy. I made some funny errors, but it was fine. Nobody was mad at me, and I figured it out. I said, okay, let me get back to you. That's a lot of people. Let's see what this means. Okay, we're going to look at your sphere of influence, the people that you know, and we're going to calculate the potential income of the people that you know. So we're going to pull out our phones. We're going to scroll to the bottom of the contacts. And what's that number?
Mine's at the top.
Oh, at the top? I don't know. I don't know how they work. 438? All right, put that number in there. 438 at the top, number A. Put your number in there. Is it 50? Is it 100? Is it 150? What's the number of contacts that you have? The example has 250. It's pretty common, about 250 people on your phone. I have a ton of people in my phone, but one thing I try to do is have everybody's number in KWAV in my phone. So if anyone ever calls me, I know who's calling me. It's not like a surprise. And so I have like 3,000 people in there. It's a bit much on there, but there's a lot of agents in my phone. So let's say it's 250. Let's use that number. So now let's look at the potential closing opportunity from the contacts. So this example is saying that 0.081 is our potential for closing. So we're going to take our number, 250, and we're going to times it on our phone by 0.081. That number gives us 20. So what was your number? What was your 438? What was your number? 32 deals. All right. Now we're going to see what the potential referrals are from those people. So our potential referrals in our database is A, and we're going to times that by 0.1. So if it's 432, it's going to be 43. All right. Now we're going to add those together. I know you guys are thinking like, thought math was done in high school. Why do we have to do math?
Wait, you take for C, you take the number of contacts?
This plus this is this.
Oh.
For C is number of contacts times 0.1, which is 10%. So if you have 500, it's 50. So our number there, we add those together. You guys with me? So let's say we have 45 now. That's our potential. Now we're going to take our average commission. What's our average commission in this office?
Maybe 8,000, Jen?
No, gross commission, right?
Oh,
GCI.
Okay, 12,000.
In this office, it's 9,300.
93.
That's the average. Because we add in land deals, we add in everything. So
That's an annual commission?
no, just one commission per transaction.
Oh, that.
Oh yeah, F is going to be the opportunity that you have in your database. So I would say 9,200 for this office. That's the average. So we're going to take this office is just 5,000, a lot lower. So that number that you get, you multiply your total opportunities by the average commission. That is the potential of your sphere of influence. Who wants to share their number?
600.
600,000? Yeah?
I didn't hear the last part, so we get the potential and we what?
It's just your potential. That's it. So
But how do we get that number again?
So you get your contacts, you multiply it by 0.081. Those are the potential people that are going to close the deal in your database right now. Then we get the number again and times it by 0.1. That's the potential amount of referrals, people they know that might buy or sell. We add those together, so there's 45 potential deals there. Then we multiply it by our average commission,
Okay, got that part.
and that's how much money we can make.
Maybe I don't supposed to do this question, but I'm gonna ask it. So that's in any given market?
Any given market, any given time, it's just to show you potential.
Got it.
Right, there's an easier way to do it. I just do the simple math. We know on average 0.05 move each year. So if you have 400 people, that means 20 are going to move this year. That's just simple math because that's how statistics work. You take a group of 10,000 people, 5% of them move every year. So if you have a group of people, 5% are going to move. That doesn't include how many of those people know someone that's also going to move. So that's just simple math, right? The possibility of what you can make. So there's $600,000 worth of potential income in your database at 450 people, correct? Some of us might not believe that's true. I'm going to prove to you that it is. And didn't teach us yet, yeah?
I haven't
No.
tried Ignite to today, to this.
Okay. I did a panel 2 years ago, and we had it was a women's panel of top realtors in the Antelope Valley. One of those top realtors was Maxie Case. You guys know who Maxie Case is?
Yes.
If you've been in real estate, you know Maxie Case is. She's always been in the top 10 for the last 30 years. She sells 50 to 100 homes every year, right? And I asked her a question about lead generation, and here's what she told me she does. She has 600 people in a database, and once a month, she mails a really nice newsletter to them. That's it. So 600 people has made her consistently around $1 million a year for the last 15 years. Well, I mean, 500,000 to $1 million, depending on sales price, right? So, looking at our numbers of having how many people? 400. 400. So making 600,000 is very possible in that number. So, how many people you have in your phone? How many people that you know in your sphere of influence is a good indicator of how much money you can make. This is why when you ask me about what we should do to make money right away, you're like, do I cold call? Do I do open houses? I say it's in here first. This is the quickest way to get a deal. If you just moved here and you know no one, you have 0 friends, then yes, guess what? We got to do open houses. We got to door knock. We got to get out there to build the database because we don't have one. But when you first start, your deals are right here. They're here. We just have to figure out a way to call them. That is a lot of potential. A lot of potential for a lot of money. You might not get them all. Guess what? You're not going to. They know other realtors too. But you could get a few. You could get maybe a lot. So when you say, what do I do when I first get started? I say, call everyone you know. Let them know you do real estate. And if you're willing to do that, you'll probably find success.
And then something that I learned when I started the business is that during the transaction, you know you're doing your best, so don't be afraid to ask for referrals through the transaction.
Yeah?
So we should have to ask for referrals at least 3 times through the transaction, which is client.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Make sense? So we see the potential. This is why we say go build a database, feed it daily, systematically touch it, and service all leads. That's all you got to do. So simple. I make it sound so simple.
So
You're like, but how?
let's just, somebody has just brand new in the business, it has 500 people in the database, those numbers still apply?
Yeah. They're going to sell. It's a potential. If you have 500 people in your database, at least 5% of those people are going to move on average. They might not call you, they might know somebody else, but those 25 deals are up for grabs. So, go grab it. Right? Okay, let's look at... Okay. No, go back. Do you order a new one of these yet? Beautiful. Okay, let's look at some ahas from this first section. What do you guys, some ahas from your database and some information in there?
So me, I am working on calling all people, and while calling when they respond, I ask for the email and the physical address, because my plan for maybe 2 months from now is put a nice Spanish letter and English, both, and so send it out.
Beautiful.
And I have in my plans is once a month, just mail it out. A
Okay.
nice thank you card, nice something, but bilingual, right? So, I call, and so far, I think I'm doing great in calling those people, and just, I just did your word, and hey, I did a really bad job last year, so sorry. And so I asked, hey, I don't have your email, can I have it please?
Yeah.
And so, that's it,
Most people will give it to you.
yeah.
Most people will give it to you. Mondo has a great way where you can input everyone from your phone into command right away.
All he did.
I honestly believe, but most of us won't do it, I honestly believe that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is go for your phone and call that person and say, hey, I'm going to be sending out my clients some great information about what's going on in the market, some real estate investment deals and stuff like that. I notice I don't have your email or your physical address. Do you mind if I get that? Most people are like, yeah, sure, thanks.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go into command, you input their name, their physical, all their information, and now you put a little, called this person, they gave you this stuff, checked in, it was great. And you go to the next one. And then you do it one at a time, because then you're actually going to call them. Right? It's a lot faster just to, whoop, yay, good to go. But if you did it Any other ahas?
So I started doing this little, on my sphere of influence, actually last Tuesday, I started doing this mini postcards in Spanish and Facebook, just to give a little information in regards to the process and things like that. I got 3 families calling me from just Facebook, and so one came from Los Angeles, one from San Fernando, because it's out there. So it's working a lot. I didn't use before I said, well, I have to leverage, right, the Facebook. So that's what I'm doing, and I think it's giving me results.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so now, yesterday I put 6 new people in my database. Everything together.
That's very good. And I remember when I would sit in these classes and I'd hear people say stuff like that. I'd be like, man, like, that didn't work for me. That didn't work for me. You don't know until you try. You don't know until you get out there and you're consistent with it. The thing is, it might not have worked if she was brand new and did that, but she's been doing real estate for a couple of years now and has been finding success. So the consistency over time, all of a sudden you're starting to get more and more and more. So don't be discouraged if you do a post today and you don't get 6 new people. There's a good chance it doesn't happen. But it's consistency over time. You will start to see stuff like that. All right, let's get into the lead generation model. Models, baby. We're the place of systems and models at KW. We talk about the models, and here is our lead generation model. So the first thing we do is we have to lead capture, either by marketing or prospecting, right? We'll talk more about the difference of those in a minute, but we capture leads. If I go to an open house and I meet 4 or 5 people, and there's some potential people in there, I'm capturing the lead, right? So what do I do with it? I got to put it in my database, right? And what I'm trying to do is make that lead turn from a lead to a contact, from a stranger to a friend, from some random realtor to the economist of choice that I trust. Make sense?
Yes.
So how do I do that? By being a person of value, sending them what they want, sending them what they need. If someone walks into an open house and they're talking about, well, we really want to try to move out here, we really like it, but you know, we're not really sure about the schools, and we're not really sure about what's going on in the community, we're not sure if it's us. And then I send them a bunch of crap they don't care about their pipes freezing, am I going to become a realtor of choice? No. If I send them great information about the school districts, what goes on in the community events, you know, I don't know, special events that are going on, things that they told me they're interested in, I'm going to become trusted from them, correct?
Yes.
All right?
How can we access that information to send to our clients? Does command happen, or it's just like public?
Google.
Public.
So if someone walks in and they're asking for something specific, school, stuff like that, I'm just going to go research it to try to be of value to them,
Got it.
right? Now, there is, being generic is better than nothing. In Command, you can turn on an open house smart plan, and it will send them just maybe basic information about closing real estate deals or whatever, right? But it's generic, and it might not impact them at that time. If someone comes with specific needs, I'm going to spend extra time with that person and send them what they are asking for, so we could build a trustful relationship. And then I'm going to call them and say, hey, did you get the stuff about the schools? Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting too. You know, I just really want to help your search results. Even if you don't come out here, I want you to know you feel that you made a good decision because you had all the information, right? What are they going to do? Now they're going to build trust, where when I call, they're going to answer because they trust me in that relationship, right? So all the leads that come in, I'm trying to make them into contacts, people that will actually answer the phone when I call. If a lead comes in an open house and they're like, oh yeah, I'll write my name, and they're like kind of giving me the arm distance thing, and I just keep calling them, trying to get their information, there's no trust there, they're probably going to ignore my call, right? Maybe even block me. But I'm still going to call, trying to build that relationship. The goal is to lead to contact, right? And once you feel comfortable, they'll actually pick up your call. Now there's a little bit of trust. Right now we have to cultivate the contacts for conversion. Meaning that we are providing and becoming their realtor of choice. We are their economist of choice. We are the person that they look for all their real estate needs because we are their wealth of knowledge. So when they go see an open house and they like it, they're going to call you to make sure it's priced right. They're going to call you to see if you can help them. They're going to call you when they have a question about even refinancing their home or selling. Right? So This part is a long-term play where you are going to always be in front of your clients through client events, through mailers, through your monthly newsletters to build that relationship. This part is a quick period of time to form the relationship, something specific, right? So we call these, when you meet a lead to becoming a contact, we call it an 8x8 or a 7 to cement. You're trying to cement the relationship over an 8-week period where they think of you as a realtor of choice. Why do we do that? Because everybody knows 15 freaking realtors, right? But not every realtor stays in contact and does what's necessary to stay top of mind. There's a study done, right? We could only remember about 150 people in our head at any given time, right? When we meet somebody new, old people go away because we only have so much space. So if we meet someone at an open house, we got about 8 weeks to really ingrain in their head that they're the realtor. So we have to really strengthen that relationship right in the beginning to be top of mind. If I walk in with my family and like, we're thinking about moving here, we're unsure. Me and my family did this last year. We were talking about maybe moving out of state. We were unsure if we wanted to stay in California long term. We had no timeline. We just were going to go visit, check out Texas, right? And we went and saw a lot of homes. Not one of those realtors, I told them, like, we're thinking about moving out here. We don't know about the area. Not one of them, I could tell you their names. And we walked in a ton of open houses. One of them followed up. Not one of them sent me anything about what I wanted. Like, how are the schools here? Oh, they're good. Well, and if they gave me like something cool, they would have stuck out to me. We're not moving to Texas. We didn't love it out there. But it was just an example of, this is what I wanted. They didn't submit in my head if I move out there. I'm not using any of those people. I'd probably just find somebody else. I would use a KWAV person anyways, but I wasn't going to use any of them anyways. But if someone really went up and above and beyond, well, you never know, right? So once we strengthen relationships, we move them down here from our 8x8. We call this the 36 touch plan. So throughout our relationships with our clients and everyone in our database, we recommend that you stay in touch 36 times a year, through 36 touches. That doesn't mean you got to call them 36 times. It means that you got to stay top of mind about 3 times a month, right? That might be a great newsletter. That might be an email. That might be a neighborhood nurture. That might be a phone call, a quarterly phone call. It might be a text message. It might be inviting to an event. It might be letting them know about a great cause that you're championing, a coat drive or a backpack drive for kids at school, and you love to help them participate. It might be for a food drive. It might be for anything. But you just need to stay in touch that time so the relationship is submitted, right? I'm going to go back just a second and tell you about the 8x8 and where that came from. So the reason why we say it takes 8 weeks to submit, there was a marketing company in the late 80s, and they took a neighborhood of about 500 homes. They made up a fake realtor, and they mailed a mailer to those homes for 8 straight weeks. Once a week, 8 weeks. A mailer of like real estate stuff. They called and surveyed that neighborhood. They said, who's your realtor of choice? 82% of the people said the fake realtor. 82%. So by 8 straight weeks of being of value, it got in their head, top of mind, so they said that was their realtor of choice, right? So that's why we call it an 8x8, 8 weeks to really kind of cement to somebody's head. So if I meet someone at an open house and there's a good relationship, I want to have somewhat of a plan for over the next 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, or at least something, that they're going to get something from me to stay top of mind, right? It might be a newsletter. It might be the school thing. It might be houses. It might be a drip system where they told me what kind of houses they're looking for. Then I put them in my website, and now they're getting an email from me every time there's a new house and something that they're looking for, right? It might be something unique. It might be a thank you gift card for coming, or a thank you card for coming into my open house that's handwritten with my business card, because those stick out, right? But I want to do that every single time someone comes in, no matter what. And then, after those 8 weeks, the relationship formed, I put them on my 36 touch program, which is just, or everybody else gets, they get the newsletter, they might get a phone call, they might get something else. And that's how you cultivate a person all the way till they pop out a piece of business, right? In real estate, where most of us make our, if you've been with me a while, you've seen this diagram, but just bear with me here. this is lead gen. This is 3 to 7 years. And this is escrow. When someone that walks in our open house, people on Zoom can't see, so let me do this real quick. Oh, I should probably have the chat up, because people might be asking questions. Oh, see, yes, they say good morning. All right, so when I lead gen, no, the button's not working anyways. Well, sorry guys, you won't see it. When I lead gen at an open house, most realtors get mad when they want to find somebody that falls right here. That's a month or two away from buying or selling a home. The reality is, most of the time when you lead gen, they're here, 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 here. This is where most of the people are going to fall when you meet people on lead gen. And we get mad or we throw away all these people because we're just looking for these people. And we're in a constant state of finding these people. People are like, oh, I just want the referral business to come. Well, then master this. Because this is where the money's at. The fortune is in what?
Follow-up.
Fortune is in the follow-up. So this is your 36 touch program. This is this. That's where most of the people are going to live in your database because they're not looking to buy or sell today. I wasn't looking to buy or sell the last 2 years. Now we're kind of like, maybe. My wife's kind of like, oh, my house is too small. I'm like, it's fine. I didn't say that.
I'm just telling you, I'm writing down.
It's
your-
not fair because I can talk smack all day and no one would, she never knows, but now you're going to sell me out. That's all right. I say the same stuff to her. Out of love. It's out of fun. She's like, I did not say that. I'm like, I know, but it's more funny if I make it up. So anyways, so when these people get ready, they automatically don't walk into open house and talk to a bunch of realtors. They just call you. They just call you. And they give you business. Or they refer you business, and it comes back up to here into your database.
Did you want me to set the camera?
No, it's fine. I was just doing a quick drawing. A quick drawing of, I know, like, probably should have been an artist, but like more real estate.
Abstract.
That's the job.
Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of, your cousin of Picasso.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally that part.
Yeah.
More like an age thing. When you trying to find the formulas.
Yeah. I remember when I was young, I'd be terrified of being called up to the board to have to write because I have a writing of a 3-year-old and a spelling of about a 7-year-old, and I would be terrified of having to go up there and do that. And now I just don't care. I'm like, it's great. You can kind of read it. You can kind of read it. It's good enough. It's not my skill set. You know, I could spend all the time trying to master being able to spell and write nice, but that would be dumb.
Hey, Garrett, so when you say 3-7, I kind of got lost.
3 to 7 years.
Got it.
3 to 7 years. Average people move every 3 to 7 years. And your leads are going to fall somewhere on this timeline. So whoever's the best at this is going to win the most. You know who's really, really good at this, which is really great job? It's Jessica Dixon. She's really good at that. She gives away hundreds of gingerbread houses to all her clients and friends and family. And they do an online contest to give away a big prize every Christmas. And she selects kids from her clients to be the judges. It's brilliant. It's so smart.
Bring it to fun.
Yes, it's so smart. It's so brilliant. You know, and I gave her that idea. I'll pretend I did though. Okay. So, questions on this. Ask me stuff about it because I've just been preaching for the last 20 minutes.
So when you lead generate or try to get the opportunities, right? What's your focus on it? What type of people you call? Is it to sell by owners? Is it what is it that you focus on?
It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I sucked at cold calling. I did it for 3 straight months, and I remember like waking up going, I didn't leave a job I hated to do something I hate. I I hate cold calling. It wasn't my bag. Like, it just wasn't me. But I was pretty good at open houses. I was pretty good with relationships with people. My skill set is forming relationships with someone when they walk in. They would walk in my open house. If they had a sports cap on, I know sports. I'm going to talk crap about their sports team, even if I like the team. But just to build, because guys, when a guy attacks their sports team, it's like an instant like, oh yeah, well, what are you, a Niners fan? Yeah. And I know sports well enough to have those conversations, right? Or they would walk in and, I'd be like, hey, what do you guys do? It's like, oh, I'm a teacher. Gotcha, right? Because
Yes.
my family's in teaching. I have so many family in teaching. Or someone's like, oh, I'm in aerospace. Oh, what program? My brother's in aerospace. I'm just forming relationships with people. So there wasn't a huge intent on what I was doing for the open houses. Now, when I was door knocking for listings. Because when I door knock the open house, I don't care if they want to come to the open house.
Exactly.
I want the guy that's like, oh, what's it going for? Ding, ding, ding. This guy's thinking about moving, right? So I'm door knocking with a flyer. Hey, we're doing for the Smiths down the street. We're doing an open house this weekend. We just love to invite the neighbors because typically neighbors like to choose who their neighbor's going to be. And they kind of, oh, okay, great. And they slam the door in my face. They don't care, right? But it's what are they selling it for? And that's just the relationship. Oh, they're actually listed at $450. We've got a lot of action. I think we're going to sell it pretty quick. Have you guys ever thought about moving? Or, if you were to move, where would you go? Right. I'm just trying to form the relationships.
Yeah, I stop at open houses because I don't like to be still in one place.
Yeah.
It's just maybe crazy.
Do what you do.
Yeah, but now that you're talking about, I have a notebook full of people in numbers that I haven't even. So that.
Yeah, the first and foremost thing is the people that are in your phone. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you truly lead generate 2 hours, 3 hours a day, those will go out quickly. You will be done quickly with those people. And then you have to go figure out something else to do, because if you just sit and wait for those people to call you, it's probably not going to happen. So, how can we go out there and meet more people? All right. Let's see here. This new clicker can't come fast enough. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about prospecting versus marketing. All right, first and foremost, anyone guys know the difference between prospecting and marketing?
No.
So prospecting is I'm going to go out there and dig for gold, right? I'm going to go do the work. It's free. It's probably going to get me results faster. And it's what we should focus most of our activities on, right? Marketing is, I'm on a billboard, like, excuse me, right? It's trying to bring in business to me, right? Cultivating leads. And command, you can do marketing pretty cheap. You can do Facebook ads, and you will get a lot of leads from there. You have to then prospect those leads to try to convert them, those leads into business, and you got to call them, and you got to be on top of them. But marketing is anything getting your image out there and having the business come to you, right? Marketing is expensive. A lot of agents think, oh, I'm just going to buy leads and just spend all this money. And if you have a big budget, if you came in here, you got 50 grand sitting in the bank, and you're like, I just want to make this successful. To be honest, just go buy a bunch of Zillow leads. You'll probably make it work. Because those people call you, and as long as you learn how to answer those phones and do it, you could get your business rolling, right? Problem is, most of us don't have 50 grand in the bank to go out there and spend a bunch of money. So we have to go out there and prospect. It's time intensive, it's proactive, it's immediate results, right? Let's think about our database we talked about, right? We talked about how do we manage our database. We talked about making phone calls, making emails. So a phone call is what? Prospect or marketing?
I think it's
It's prospecting, right? What's an email?
Marketing.
Marketing.
Yeah, because it's a long term, maybe they don't see it. They might also.
Doesn't cost you a lot of time. It's pretty free, right? What about a newsletter that you mail out?
Marketing.
It's marketing. It's marketing.
As long as it's not a personal touch or a personal communication with the person, it's marketing.
It's marketing, right? And so you need to have a balance of both. You can't just do anything, but you want to be prospecting based. All your activities are prospecting based, but we enhance it by marketing. So your base of your database needs to be prospecting, right? Calling them, shooting a text message. How are you? How's the family? But you enhance it by marketing with those monthly emails, the listing, right? Or if I'm going to do open houses for somebody, I'm going to first look for the area I've been farming. So that way when they're driving, they're like, oh, there's that realtor that knocked on our door last week. Oh, look, there's that realtor's sign again. Oh, look, there's that realtor's thing that he dropped off on my patio we missed, right? You're marketing at the same time as you're prospecting, knocking on doors, right? That's why like cold calling has a lower percentage if you're just circle prospect cold calling, because it's just straight prospecting, right? So the percentages are a little lower. Where if you door knock, but you happen to have a listing in that area, and you happen to do a bunch of open houses, and they saw your sign a bunch of times, and you go knock, now you're oh yeah, you're that realtor I saw. Oh yeah, right? There's a little bit more correlation. You're going to have a little bit better results. Make sense?
Yes.
Any questions?
Not me.
All right. The relationship management. A database is a container that holds the information of your leads and contacts. A smart database, databank, allows you to have planned and meaningful communication with your database. All right, so the reason why we like to call it a data bank instead of a database, because we believe the more you deposit into it, through phone calls, conversations, giving back, the more you'll be able to withdraw in the future. So it's like a bank. You invest into it, you put money into it, there's an interest rate, you get a return. Unless you're at US Bank, where your returns suck. I don't know why I'm still there. You go like, so those online places, you get like 5% right now, 4%, that's good returns. So the more you deposit in the future, the more you can pull out. So that's what we call a data bank. Store all your data in there to make some money. All right, leads versus contacts. So a lot of those times we talk about, oh, is it a lead? Is it a contact? You know, how do you follow up with these people? You want to make a lead into a contact. A lead is a one-way conversation. A friend calls, hey, my cousin's been moving, here's his number, give him a call. Is that a lead or a contact? It's a lead. I call him, he doesn't answer. I call him, he doesn't answer. I call him, he doesn't answer. It's a one-way conversation. I send him a mailer, he doesn't answer. I call him, he doesn't answer. Text him, he doesn't answer. It's a one-way conversation, it's just a lead, right? Contact is people you've held a two-way conversation with and whom you've established a value-based relationship with. So if I call him and he's like, dude, stop calling me, hangs up, probably not a very good lead anymore. It's not a contact, right? But if I call him and say, hey, I got your number from my friend Mike. He was telling me you're looking to maybe buy in the next couple months out here in Lancaster. How can I be of service? Oh yeah, thanks, guy. I really appreciate it. Well, we're looking to move. Okay, great. We know it's the time. Well, let's get together. I'd love to show you what the process looks like, and we'll get you started. Okay, great. Contact, right? Value-based relationship. We've had a conversation. Make sense?
Yes.
We understand the difference? Any questions?
Not here, no means.
All right. Relationships must be attended to, cared for, and cultivated. On my beautiful diagram of the football, break it right there and throw that thing. Perfect. On this chart, you must cultivate the relationship. Right? You have to care for the people. You have to be a resource for them. Or they're going to use me. So I'll do it. Right? And guess what? They have 2 realtors. They don't. Maybe 3. They do. And when it comes time to buy or sell, you don't want them to think of those ones. You want them to think of you. So you have to constantly be in touch for them. And the hardest part for agents, I think, and I do a lot of one-on-ones with our top 20%. I do a lot of recruiting for agents at other offices that are good producers. And the number one challenge with everyone that comes over that isn't born, by the way, if you started here, you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I'm telling you that. I didn't realize it. I was born here. I was raised here. I did my real estate here. I got to leadership. I started recruiting other agents, and I was terrified. How am I going to recruit these top producers from other offices? I don't even know anything. And then I sat down with top producers from other offices, and they don't know. Every one of them should benefit from this class. They don't know crap about business. It's not taught. They're not taught how to think like a business owner. They don't understand how the database works. Most of them don't even have a database. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? right? They've never grown a business. So we are very, very lucky to be born here. I did not know that. I thought every office taught and did a lot of cool things like we do until I met with a lot of people from other offices, and they don't. They don't at all. You have a question?
I have a comment in here.
Yeah.
I got two brokers and they were calling me to go with them and say, hey, you can come to me. And so I said, what you offer? No, you just come over here and work. I'm like, and then I value, right? I said, well, Keller Williams has this and this and this for me. Every time I call them, they there for you, you there for me. I bother you all the time. And so, and that I value,
Yeah.
because when I ask what you got to offer, right? And then and not only
Indeed.
the real estate, it's even the brokers out there too.
In the absence of value, it always comes down to price. And so people that their number one in the office price is there's an absence of value, right? And the people that leave us, which we're not perfect, unfortunately, that happens. It's okay. It typically is not so much the price; it's they didn't find the value because they didn't want to engage in the things that we offer, and that's okay. We're not for everyone, so they want to go somewhere a little bit cheaper, something like that, and that's okay. Where it happens. But anyways, so how are we going to communicate to our database? How are we going to stay top of mind, and what will we do? Right? Personally, I did client events. Not on here. I did events. I did a couple different things. Jethawks was a thing. I rented out a suite. It wasn't that expensive. Vendor paid for it. My lender. We got some food. We got like 40, 50 people together. We did different events. Those are amazing and also very draining for me. It's just like that. Put it on that. Yeah, it's good. It worked, but it was hard for me, right? It was hard for me to do that. I loved a newsletter that I could mail out to stay top of mind because it was expensive, but I could really put some good thought in there and do it, and I didn't have to be as draining for me and my personality, right? So you got to figure out what you will do because you can't do nothing. You have to do something if you want to be successful. So what will you do for your database? And then out of those things, how do we think of a strategy that we'll do each month? Let's make it simple. Go over to Monarch. I think they still have them. Get the big calendar. Or go to Michael's or wherever. The big desk calendars, right? And we're in February. So you go to February. Tear it off and go. What am I going to do this month for my database? Well, February 14th. Maybe I'll do a little Valentine's, a little simple card, and maybe I'll get the kids one. It'd be like, these were fun when we were in high school, or when we were in elementary school, and I hope you have a wonderful time, and your business card's in there, and you mail them out. Done. There's one thing. I'm going to do a neighborhood nurture for everyone to have their addresses in. There's two things. What's the next thing I'm going to do this month? Maybe I'll do a phone call and I'll check in on everybody. When am I going to do that? I'll do that this week. I'm going to call everybody. Okay, there's this month done. And flip it over. March. What am I going to do in March? Spring. Start the spring. Maybe I'll do like some spring cleaning thing or something fun around that. And I'll do an event or I'll do, I don't know.
Considering seasons.
Sure. I don't know. What else is in March? Is there a holiday? Probably.
Yes.
Easter?
Easter.
St. Patrick's
These
Day?
events.
Let's say Easter is in March instead of April, depending on when it falls. Is it in April normally?
Everyone is April.
April?
Normally the same.
Okay, we'll say St. Patrick's Day. All right. What can I do for St. Patrick's Day that would be fun? That might get people. I'll do something on social media and I'll tag and I'll comment on people. Hope you don't get pinched. Just a reminder or something. Wear your green. I don't know. Think of something. Right? Easter. You know what I'll do? On a Saturday, I'll reserve this area and I'll talk to a photographer and I'll get a bunny and everyone in my database could get a nice family photo for free. It's going to cost me some money. I'm going to look at it. I'll talk to a vendor to see if we could share the cost, or maybe they'll do it, but something I'm going to do this year, right? Or if I don't have that money, maybe we'll do a hidden egg contest. And I put 3 eggs in my database's house, hidden in your front yard, and one lucky winner gets a prize or something. I don't know. I'm just making crap up on the top of my head as we're talking. Google it. What do real estate agents do for February for their clients? Ask ChatGPT. They'll give you ideas. We don't have to overcomplicate it. We just have to do something. We have to do something 3 times a month. And if you do a newsletter once a month, well, there's one thing every single month. Now you got to think of 2 things. If you do a neighborhood nurture, well, there's 2 things once a month. Now you only got to think of one thing. One thing a month that you have to do. And occasionally you should call them. So that way the relationship feels good.
I just want to share what I'm planning on doing. I'm trying to do like a Valentine's themed, like door knocking in my neighborhood.
Beautiful.
It's gonna be my first time, so
Beautiful.
I hope it goes well.
It will go well. So
Yes.
the easiest way to door knock is for a reason and a theme and something fun or easy. Cookies or bake or whatever. Hi, I'm just letting you know I baked some cookies or I baked this or I did this or whatever, or a little heart, happy Valentine's Day, or some candy, and I'm a local real estate agent and I just want to be valued and get to know everybody. And people go, okay, cool, thanks. Like, especially if you have something that you give them, it makes it much easier than just giving them a card. I think the first time I walked up to door knock, I was terrified. I showed up at neighborhood and I had my business cards. I was like, what am I going to do? It's like, I don't know. I knocked on the door. I was like, hi, It was a disaster. But I learned, right? I learned that I'm never going to knock on a door without a reason. What is my reason? An open house, an event, something like that. Okay, let's keep going so we get you guys out of here on time. Your database will generate leads in the form of new, repeat, or referral business. Almost every top team across the nation, 85% of their business comes from referral. Top teams in Keller Williams across the nation are going around and buying out small teams and offices. There's teams called Livian. There's teams called Place. There's teams called Empowered. These are all teams that have grown across the nation and they know how to do business. And what do? They go to a team like Tom Paul and they say, hey, we'll buy you. We're going to buy you out. We want your database. They take their database and they plug in their systems that they do, and it generates business for them. Referral business. 85% of their business is from their database, from referrals, because they understand this part so much. And this is the part that most realtors don't understand. This is the most value. And a lot of times when I bring an agent over, this is the hardest thing to understand because they are so focused on lead generating for this. And everything matters for today. But it's a mistake. Because it's much easier to lead generate when your phone rings with someone that wants to sell a home. It's the best lead generation ever. I've been reverse door knocked. That's my favorite story ever. You guys ever been reverse door knocked? Someone knocked on your door and asked you to sell their home? It happened to me, my brother-in-law. And he started real estate at the same time. And I told him what happened. And he's like, you've been reverse door knocked? That's bullcrap. And it was funny because we laughed because I didn't think of it that way. But it did happen, right? A family friend that we've known for a long time was across the street at a friend's house that I didn't know they knew. And they showed up and they, oh, Garrett. She walked across the street to knock on my door to tell me that she was ready to buy a home. I was in my pajamas. You know how cool that is?
Yes.
To be in your pajamas, open the door, it's like, hey, I want to buy a house. I'm like, oh, cool. That's great. Right? How does that happen? She had to know I was doing real estate and seeing all the stuff I was doing. Right? And it's a funny story because my brother-in-law had been door knocking like 100 homes a day. He was like on a mission to he was in LA, much tougher market to break into. And he's door knocking, and he couldn't get anything going, and he was struggling. And I told him my story. I'm like, well, someone knocked on my door, and he's like, are you kidding me?
I got those a lot.
It's the best way to get it.
Yeah, I got those that my clients drive by, stop by my house. You know, I missed your business card. One of my friends wants to buy.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they call me and say, are you home? I say, yeah, why you ask? Because my cousin is here and he wants to talk to you because he wants to move to the area and wants to go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, baby.
Then we can get out the living room so they can
Yeah. I'm like, come on in. Normally I have pants on. It's like, come on in. It is. I'll do whatever. Come on in. All right, putting it all together. So lead generation. Here's the truth, guys. It never ends. You're always going to be doing it. It's part of your life. When I took over the team leader role, I was like, oh, cool. I don't have to do that lead generation stuff anymore. No, never ends. I lead generate. I try to lead generate almost every single day. Right? I have to grow the office. We have to bring more agents in. We have a cap here. We make the same amount of money off Jessica Dixon as we do off someone that does 7 or 8 deals, because you cap. So we have to bring in more agents. That's our model, right? So we're always trying to bring in agents to the office. How do we sell Keller Williams? How do you sell at homes? It's the same thing I have to do. It never ends. We have to always be top of mind, let people know that we're a great option for them. It's best when you time block it, absolutely. If you don't have it time blocked, we talked yesterday, if you had the office meeting, about the big rocks. If your big rocks aren't time blocked, if you don't get those done the right way, typically it won't happen, all right? And determine the size of your business. It's very simple. If you want to make $1 million in this business, we can determine exactly how many people we need in your database to do it, based off sales price, based off, on average, 5% of people move. So what do we got to do that? Average, we make 10,000, right? We make $1 million, means we have to do 100 deals. 5% of people move, so 100 times 0.5, or divided by 0.5. How many people is that? 5,000? Roughly? Alright, go get 5,000 people in the database. Go make $1 million. Jessica did it with probably like 600 people, 700 people. Much better return rate than the average person, but. Oh, how much more do we gotta go? I gotta go faster. Alright, I'll go faster. No ahas. Keep them to yourself. Alright, what are these pictures? Okay, categorizing your sphere of influence. Why do we want to categorize some of our sphere of influence?
May have different
By
interests.
classifying how many referrals you get from each one.
To know how to connect. To know how to connect.
Honestly, just get you to think. A lot of us don't think we have a lot of sphere of influences, but we know more people than we are actually. If we sit down and think and allow ourselves to think about it, we actually know quite a bit more than we think we do, right? So you can sit down like, who do I know, and write these out. You can take this list of immediate family, write out all your immediate family, your friends, all your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your past coworkers, hobbies, sports groups, teachers, church, worship, club volunteers, professional services, financial legal services, personal services, auto home services, real estate agents, real estate services, other. Just start writing out as many people that you know in those. A lot of times there's more than we actually realize. There's more people in there than we could really give credit to who we know. Activity, build your sphere of influence day by day. I don't know if we're going to have time to jump into the activities. Let's see how much further we have, see how much time I actually have. Oh, no, we're pretty good. We're good. We're plenty of time. I take it back. Okay. So build your sphere of influence day by day. Let me go back real quick. Okay, categorizing your sphere. So, adding tags and doing things to your database makes things easier, right? So when I do a database and I'm looking at meeting people, if I talk to some of my friends who are maybe in better positions than other people, right? They make pretty good money. They're looking towards the future, and they've talked about wanting to maybe grow their wealth. I'm going to tag them as an investor, right? And if, let's say I have a good chunk of friends, about 50 of them that are like that, right? A smart agent would have a different 36-touch plan for those people. A different drip system for those people. Now we got to get really intuitive with that, and let's just get one first before we worry about breaking off, making it really difficult. But I might have the, investment of the week, or the flip of the week option, or something that might keep their interest because they're interested in learning more about that. So when they are ready to buy their first investment property, they are calling me, right? I want to work with investors because they buy multiple, and they're just numbers driven. Personally, the emotional part of the real estate's hard for me. They walk in, like, this house just doesn't feel right. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't feel right? It's everything that you asked for. How do you feel? Ugh! Right? Where an investor goes, what are the numbers? I don't care. That's why I like commercial. Because I like numbers. I Now Adam's gone, so sorry, no cloud on my shoulder. I'm just kidding. So thinking through who's in your database and who's in your area is important because you may be looking at it a different way to talk to these people, right? So it says, categorize your sphere, people you know. It wants you to write down people you know in those areas. I'll let you do that in your own time. Build your sphere of influence day by day. I think this is important for us to spend a little bit of time on.
What page is it?
510.
Got it.
So, build your sphere of influence day by day. So what are some things that we could do as new agents or experienced agents that we will do, and what can we go through here and think about? Let's just mastermind it together. What are some things that we could do for growing our sphere of influence?
So I'd like to share something I started off when I started being a manager. I'm still very new. I frankly feel really new, but so we all eat tacos, right?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Yes, and so
Al pastor?
al pastor, asada, whichever, right?
No, pastor is better than asada. Anyways, go ahead. No, I'm hungry.
What about
I'm happy
tripitas?
now.
What about tripitas?
What's that?
That's-
I get nervous because sometimes I'm eating tongue and I don't even know it. Intestines? I'll try it. Lengua is tongue.
No.
Yeah, language.
Lengua is tongue, yeah.
Lewiston.
Tongue is chewy.
Yeah.
It's best not to know when you go for the bite. Yeah, you just eat.
Just eat it.
What's the brain?
Queso.
Says
Says, yeah.
Queso.
Yeah, I'll stick to al pastor. Anyways, go.
So what I started doing is I created flyers for buyers. And so I look at I'm gonna give you guys a freebie. So I just look for after church Fridays, I call it Taco Friday. So I grab intention on my flyers and go to the taco stand that has the longest line. And so while I there, I say, hey, how are you? You know, great tacos, right? And then she says, hey, by the way, I'm a real estate, here's my flyer.
Look at that. Great way to go meet people.
And so I got, I stopped doing it because I was so tired, but I'm gonna retake
Good.
that.
Yeah.
And so today is my Taco Friday, so I don't eat tacos with you.
You're gonna see all of us there like, we're getting tacos too.
Everybody.
I like Taco Friday.
Yes.
I know I need some tacos today.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna be
I
there.
don't eat tacos any other day but Friday.
I could eat tacos every day.
I do too, but then boy, I put some weight on it.
Please don't talk about food.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Thanksgiving.
What do we got? About another hour? All right.
So that's how that's one of my plans for.
So basically, you're going face-to-face,
Face-to-face.
networking people at an event. Beautiful. What else can we do?
Hey, gee, that's part of.
Yeah.
I love it. They eat tacos. So,
On Friday, I'm gonna invite a bunch of ladies to play cards and have
Beautiful.
drinks and just bring your friends.
Love it.
$5 and play games.
Beautiful. That is
I like
great
Yeah,
idea.
they love it. Fridays, they're
What
checked
game
out.
are you playing? Like
Cards, they have the dice.
Yep. Like what's it called? Bridge? No. What's it called?
No, the one that you pass the.
Blanco. Blink. My wife's played it a couple times. Where you roll the dice and you pass it around.
Yes, you pass money around, or,
Yeah.
cards.
yeah, that's fun.
Any kind of games.
Yeah. I love it.
nice.
So music.
So you call
snacks,
friends, family, invite them,
and bring your
and
friends.
bring a friend.
Yeah, bring a plus one. Must bring a plus one and $5.
I like that.
Plus one, $5. I love it. That's a great idea. What else can we do?
They're knocking for open house?
Yeah.
Open house. That's the easiest thing. There's listings. There's less than there used to be, but there's listings. Do an open house.
I'm doing something a little bit crazy. I don't know if it's okay.
I love it. Great. I
Crazy.
like it when people say I'm doing something crazy. I'm in. Let's do it.
My son is going to turn 16 years old.
Uh-huh.
I'm inviting all my database, and I'm going to be with my teacher, Garrett teacher, giving drinks to anybody.
Oh, beautiful. I think that's great. That costs some money, but if you're in a
But
position,
either way, you're gonna do the party,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
either way, so might as well. Exactly. The I love the term like I'm ambitiously lazy. Like things at once. If you gotta have a birthday party anyways, and you gotta lead generate, and you gotta serve drinks, well, hey, there we go. We got all things at once. You could be the bartender, you're also the realtor of choice, and the party's being taken care of.
You know, you just talk about we had to find 5,000 people for
Yeah.
make a meeting, and I just break down the numbers, and you just need to talk with 21 people Monday to Friday to
Yeah.
get it. It's not.
So there's sense to that. When you take Bold is a big class that we will have in October. It's not us, we don't put it on. There's actually a Bold instructor from MAPS comes, and it's an intensive class. That class, you have to talk to 20 people a day. You see why? Right? Because it's just numbers at that point, and the more people you talk to, the more business that you get. You get broken up into groups. There's a really great instructor. It's an 8-week course, once a week, but you have a lot of activity to go do, and it's very popular. Agents really like it because it's very challenging, but it gets you business. And we'll have it. We didn't have it last year, but we'll have it this year. Yeah, last year was the first year. It's expensive on everybody. It's expensive. The ticket I think is 800.
700, 800, yeah.
800.
800.
Yeah, but it's expense. It's an expense on the office because we have to pay for the guy to come out. It's an expense, but it's very worth it.
What wouldn't, now that you know that you're gonna bring it on October, what do you offer to savings plan for the agents to like a takeaways, $100 for each transaction that they close from now to October?
Why does the office need to do that for you?
I
When
know.
we could do that ourselves. So it's a challenge to do that because every time we get discrepancies. People are like, oh, this or this, and I need this, and it almost causes friction between us where we almost don't want to be involved at all because at the end of the day, we're all adults here, and if it's something we want to save up and do, like, we shouldn't rely on the office to do it for us. We should do it. We will look at doing something. We always do something in the past, but every time we say, then people, we need it back or no, and we've had issues.
Okay.
But
And the fact that you use.
if you do the deal, put $100 on the side and plan to take Bold in October, or $200, or if you just do a big deal, just put $800 and under your mattress and don't look at it. Hide it from yourself, and then set an alarm or reminder that reminds you about the money when it comes time for Bold. But yes, let's save the money for you. All right, what else? What's another activity we can do? We get some good ideas here. See, there's a lot of different things we can do. We don't have to just cold call.
Well, a lot of agents go to the swap meet, the open swap meet, and start passing business card or flyers because it's a lot of Spanish community there.
Love it.
Go to the Target to pick the security radio away.
That works.
Yeah.
What else?
Another crazy idea. How about we make like a raffle, and the way they join to the raffle is give me 10 referrals, and then do the raffle.
There's a little bit of law there that you have to watch out for. You can't give money as a referral when someone gives you a referral unless they're licensed, and certain prizes could look like that. Like I was going to do this big TV for referrals. I had the same idea, and I called Car Legal, but they were like, once you get past the point, it looks, if they have to do anything to get it, it looks like it's a referral. But if you do it as such of like, give me or call me fill out this survey, and on the survey it says, who do you know that wants to buy or sell, and you get a bonus, or you can make it work, but you can get a little bit of trouble.
What about if, in order to get a referral from like a friend or colleague, you give them like a gift card?
You can do a thank you, and we always recommend that you do it for the activity, but that's the point. If you're doing like you have to do it to win a prize, that's where it gets a little bit sticky. But if anyone gives you a referral and you give them a thank you, gift or whatever, you're welcome. You can do that.
But you can't market it as you're gonna win a gift card.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to like,
You just let people know, hey, for any gift, and typically, so I did this backwards, and I learned that I did this backwards, is when I closed a deal with somebody that gave me a referral, I gave them like a $100 gift card to Broken Bit, and I was like, as a thank you for so much for the referral, really appreciate it, and they were receptive, but you want to actually refer the behavior, not the result, because when they give you a referral, it's much better to give them a $10 gift card to Starbucks just for giving them a name instantly, then months later when they forget about and get something big, because you will also get a bunch of referrals that don't close. And you don't want those people, I gave them a referral, nothing happened. You want to reward the behavior instantly, because and that it will be less money than a $100 gift card than a $10. That gives me 10 possible before I get one to spend the same amount of money. And even the small gesture was enough to be like, we're like, oh, thank you so much. I just gave you a name and you didn't need to give me anything, but they remember that.
Yeah. I used to do, in Little Lake they have a Cinco de Mayo festival. So I rent a booth. Actually, no, I sponsor the event and they give me a booth for free.
Nice. Yeah.
So I always do raffles. So I invite people to come and sign up with the ticket, they put their name and the information. I have a sheet for people who want to sign up if they are interested in buying or selling. But I got like that 200 contacts, everything that we do that. And I call them back and say thank you for participating in the raffle, and I ask for referrals, or I ask if they want to buy or sell.
Once you become more comfortable in asking too, I remember I was pretty apprehensive asking for referrals my first year and a half. But once it becomes a part of your language, it becomes second nature and it doesn't feel awkward anymore. And it's an easy way to end a conversation. Oh, by the way, if you happen to know anyone that's going to buy or sell, I'd really love you have them reach out to me. Yeah, sure. Like it just turns into like a natural type of thing when you're doing it all the time, asking for referrals. Okay, cool. So we got some pretty cool ideas. We didn't say any of the obvious easy ones either. Right? We did some pretty fun stuff. Your sphere of influence, doing a party, going out meeting people for tacos. What should we all do no matter what though this next week?
Call our therapist.
Call our database. I mean, I really hope I didn't grade that enough, and it's always awkward how we're going to call. We try to think of different strategies to do it. I love the vendor script. Some people don't. They think it's awkward. It's fine. Just figure out a way to do it. And the easiest way to do it is, hey, my son's birthday is this week and we'd love to have you over. That's an easy call. I mean, you normally might have given an invitation, but maybe you call people to invite them to the party and say, I'd love to have you. Yeah, and you ask them, how's life? How's work? You ask the question, they ask about you. It's not super difficult, Hey, reason for my call, it's my son's birthday this couple weekends. We'd love to invite you guys. Oh, great, yeah, we can make it. Awesome. So how's life been? How's your kids? Oh, they've been good. How's work going? Work's been good. How's work going to go for you? Funny that Jack.
You don't know how to say yes. Like when Gary said that, Gary asked you to get the contacts per day. So you look in to see when they know somebody that they look into by yourself, that they can pass the contact information, that you can come to Gary and say that you do your homework.
Yeah. Very cool. Love that idea. But yeah, if I could challenge you guys, like, what are you going to do this week? Maybe it's even something as a text message to your database if you're nervous to call. But just think through what a text would be. Wouldn't be that awkward. Hey, just a quick text, let you know that I've started my real estate career. I'm super excited. So if you guys need support or anything in the real estate or want to know how much your house is worth, let me know.
And I'm adding, and I have a very strong team at Keller Williams, because
Yeah.
most people know I just got
Yep.
real estate.
I'm brand new and I got a strong team at KW. Super excited for
Yeah,
another
make it
one
happen.
brokerage in America. Yeah.
There you go.
Number one. Beautiful. Nico knows it. All right. Anyone else have any crazy ideas?
For me, I'm gonna do the 100 flyers, Walmart, using Bold.
The Bold 100?
100.
So Bold 100 is when you talk to 100 people in a day. And you think, oh, I could do that. No, it's not easy. Like, I tried to do it cold calling. I got to like 80 after like 6 hours. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I can't do this. It is a challenge to get to 100 talk to.
Yes.
Now, if you go to a place and talk to people, if they talk back without running away, it's a little easier, but
Yeah, we're going to do first time combined seminar in Spanish. On
beautiful.
March 2nd, we're gonna host it here. So, today we should have the flyer, so we can start going, put the flyers on the stores, around our neighborhood, and pass it on the
Beautiful.
more Spanish community.
So
And
let
tax
me ask you, who of you guys would feel comfortable doing a first time home buyer seminar? You're like, but I'm a first time home seller, I don't know how to do it. Right? did this? What if you partnered with a lender, someone that you met, and say, hey, I want to do a first-time homebuyer seminar. Would you help me with it, right? I'm going to set it up. This office, anybody can grab this office on a day. If you want to use this spot right here, Thursday afternoon, talk to Mondo. Is it open from Thursday from 6 to 7 or whatever? You go talk to Carol. Carol, I really want to do a homebuyer seminar in Spanish or in English or whatever, right? But then you're still terrified. You get up there and talk to everybody in front, right? I bet you anything, if you talk to a few agents in here and you said, hey, Nico, I'm terrified, but I'm putting this home buyer seminar together, and I just need someone to explain how the process works and do it, and I'll give you a referral on any business that I get from it, like 25%, but you just have to do the seminar part, but I'm going to work with the buyers. Would you do it?
Yeah, 50-50.
50-50? Come to me, I'll do it for 25%. It's an hour of my time.
Oh, Nick.
Right?
You just got
It's an
the-
hour of my time. And I will talk about how great you are. And if you get 3 or 4 people, and I get 25%,
I
to
do
make
for,
$8,000 or $9,000 on if you close them,
Yeah.
I do for 25%, I just come to the seminar and talk to. But you want me to help you go to the transaction with this buyer? 50-50.
yes. If you're already in a mentorship, if you're not, then you want someone to do it with you, then yes, absolutely plan on paying 50% if someone's going to help you all the way through. But if you're just asking someone to come up and do the seminar, there's agents might do it for less. You might not get anyone, it might be a waste of time, but typically a seminar is successful on the third one you do. So your first one, you're going to get 1 or 2 people, if that.
Rhonda did one not too long ago for first-time home buyers and had over like 45 people
She did.
show up.
Mhm. She did the Calhatha. She got a Calhatha program in there. But you could work.
Came out and spoke about it.
Yeah, they came out and spoke about it and they advertised it. But you could work with your vendor, like, what great program do we have for first-time home buyers? Okay, let's do a seminar on this and how. And a lot of times they'll pay for the marketing. You might just have to put it together. You just got to get creative, right? And if you're terrified to stand in front of people and talk about how real estate works, get creative. We got a bunch of agents that are willing to do it. Nico's not scared. I'm not scared, right? You just got to be creative and go out and do what you're going to do, and it'll take time. So there's limitless possibilities of what you can do to go find business. It's just what will you go do, and what will you go focus on and do as best you can during that thing. Make sense? Okay. We're almost done here. It talks about expand your sphere of influence, gather additional personal information, strengthen the casual context, join groups, ask for referrals. A great way to start business when you're new is find a niche. I don't know what I like. I like ice hockey, but that's not super popular in the desert. I love sports. I like competing. Like I have a kind of a weird obsession with board games because I like to compete and like dominate and show that I'm better strategist than other people. And like my wife's like, you're too serious. I'm like, I know, but I'm gonna win. I mean, she's actually very competitive, so she'll play over and over again to beat me too, and she's really good. But we'll play board games because I love to compete, and it's fun for me. And that's why I love sports, because I like to compete, even though I'm 5'0" and not built to be a professional athlete. I still love to play, and it's really, really fun for me to do those things. So it's hard to find a niche or something if you don't have something obvious, right? So for me, I looked around to try to figure out what my niche was, and I'm like, I don't even know what I have. But my wife's a teacher, and she knows a ton of people, right? And with that, I got with my lender. I said, hey, let's make a teacher program. So we made some BS teacher program. It was like a Calhatha with an additional credit down, but it was for teachers only. Teachers only program. And I went to a superintendent at my wife's district where she worked, and they got me in touch with the right person, and I was able to get a flyer approved for a program. They wouldn't let me come do it in front. I really was trying to they wouldn't let me come in and do it. But they would allow me to drop off flyers, and we could do our own program, our own seminar outside of their areas. So I printed a bunch of flyers, and I say me, I mean my vendor. He paid for all of it. I didn't have to pay for it. I was going to deliver, he was going to just print and do it, right? And so I drove to the schools, and I got the little stamp of approval. Do you remember those flyers?
Yes.
Right? So you saw the flyers, right? And I dropped them off at the school district. I probably closed 7 or 8 deals from flyers, from our teacher program. we did a video, we got together, we talked about it, we had people come in, and the program was like okay, like it wasn't anything special, it was nothing that you couldn't create through a Calhatha, and we gave credits, but our big thing was we gave $250 back to the classroom, this big check thing that we made. But guess what? Every single person took that money and they needed it towards their down because they didn't have enough money. So we said, hey, instead of giving it back to your classroom, we can help you with your appraisal, or we can help you with your inspection. And they took that because they needed the money. And that was our program that we ran. And when I took over this role, I still got phone calls about that for like a year. I went to the school districts and dropped off flyers. We never even did a seminar because I took over this position and I kind of slowed up on that. Like, it just takes some creativity in a niche, but a niche of a special teachers program that they only got, it was meant only for teachers, and the lending side wasn't that great. It was a little better, but nothing special. And we gave back to the classroom, and we, I don't know, we did some other things. It was nothing special, but that niche generated business. So you could think, what's a niche for you? What do you enjoy doing? What do you love doing? There's a story of this, I forget her name. She was a top agent out in the Midwest, and she loved tennis and was done with real estate. And she told her MAPS coach that she wanted to quit real estate. She didn't want to do it anymore. And so the MAPS coach asked her, what do you love doing? She's like, I love playing tennis. I just don't want to be so busy. I want to play tennis. She go, okay, go play tennis, but be smart about it, right? So she called her database, said, hey, I want to play more tennis. Who do you know that wants to play tennis Wednesdays for a few hours at the courts? Started with a group of about 10, 15 people. Now she has to rent out all the courts. They do it like 3 days a week. They hold tournaments. She brought water bottles with her little cart on it. That's what she did in the beginning. She doesn't lead generate anymore. They play tennis, and the group refers her business. Like, that's so brilliant to me. Like, I'm like, can I play board games with a group of people and beat them? Beat them in war. They play video games. I'm like, what can I do?
Dungeons and Dragons.
I thought about pickleball is getting more popular, and like to me that's super fun. I love ping pong, but it's like not as exhausting as tennis. It's like in between. It's pickleball, and I'm like, can I make a group of people go play pickleball and make a lot of money off it, like that girl did? I think I could. It'd be fun, right? So just think what you love to do, what you could go do, or what you like to be a part of it. Like if you're passionate about, you got kids in their school. PTA, stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know if there's something there or not, if you're really good at that type of thing. Your church, if you're really involved in your church, please don't go in like salesy for church. Like, it'll come, trust in God, he'll bring it to you. Just do it out of something you really like doing, right? If it's something you're passionate about, do it, and then the money will come that if you can make that work. But you could be smart about it. You can tie it in, right, where you're not necessarily being super salesy, but your cards are there, or your people know, or you're wearing your KW shirt as you're pouring the drink, right? And your name tag with, you do real estate, people ask, like, I like your name tag, yeah, Keller Williams. And now you know my name just in case you want to get my drink right? You can make it fun. So give yourself time to think on what you enjoy doing and what you wouldn't mind doing, and thinking how I can incorporate that to real estate. If you could find a niche, Jessica Dixon, her niche was Army wives. She moved out here, she didn't know a freaking person. She knew her neighbor, and they're getting their license together. But she got in chat rooms with social media, with Army wives, and what it was like to move into new areas, and she started talking about real estate, and she started door knocking, and she started doing open houses, and she had 3 listings in her first month. After her coach, old coach we used to have that's not here anymore, because one good one, told her it wasn't realistic for her to think she's going to get listings in her first month. Focus on buyers. She's like, screw you, I'm going to go get listings. And she did. She got 3 in her first month. And I was like the young hotshot at the time. I'm like, who's this girl? Slow down, girl. I'm the cool guy. You're too good. She's like, oh, you did 20 deals? I'm going to do 35. And I'm like, I hate you. With love. She's like your sister. You'll hear us in the office. We'll be bickering at each other. I'm like, you're like my sister. We just fight. She's like, I know, but I love you. I'm like, I love you too. Have a good day. Okay, I think that's it for protect your bunker. Turn it on honest achievement. Protecting your time blocking. This is real quick. This is pretty important. It's really easy to get distracted. If you're like me, shiny object. Woo, woo, woo. When you're going to lead generate, close all the tabs. Just have your CRM open. Don't have Facebook open. Don't have the phone. Just do what you're going to do and don't let things distract you. If you're going to go in there, bring in food, like bring in drinks. Because what happens, you make 3 phone calls, I'm hungry. And then you're like, oh, there's laundry. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's this. And 3 hours went by and you're like, I called 3 people. So protect your time, bunker yourself in, get what you need to do to get it done. On the success system of the lead generation for today, you guys are supposed to lead contact. That's what we talked about, build a database. Feed your database with regroup pro. Yeah. So basically, you just need to call people in your database.
Has anybody else been using that script that I gave you guys? No? Yeah, I'll get you one. Kinda? Is it still working for you?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah? Awesome.
Did you know where we can find the script in, command or anything like that?
Doesn't your book? I think your book
The
has
back of your book.
the back of the book has a bunch of scripts in it. I think.
But the script that I gave out the other day in class is different, so I'll get that to you if you want to.
Say, I think most of the scripts that people ask, I just printed this and I give them the scripts that are in here. Yeah, lead generation scripts, conversion scripts, Ford, real estate expert conversation, new to real estate conversation starter. Hello, it's Mike. How have you been? How's the family? How are you still working at? Are you still joining? Do you ever pursue this dream? I'm reaching out to share. I'm a new agent, Keller Williams. Thought I had you because I knew that you were someone that would help me grow my business, especially since you know my track record and commitment to doing what's very best. There's scripts. They're at the back. Scripts are great to internalize and to make your own and to where you know where the conversation is going. And if you don't know what to say, you can call and read straight off that thing and you'll be okay. But it's better if you internalize it and you kind of make it your own to make it your own success. Any questions? Any ahas? We're almost done. You guys can get out of here.
Many a house, but you say to keep it for yourself.
Well, I thought we were really pressed on time, but then I realized we were actually okay.
No, well, just get to it.
Get to it.
That's pretty much.
Your first week of hesitation is done. If you haven't gotten to action this week, next week is week of action. Week of action. Don't react when the bank account's empty. Be proactive. Fill that thing up. All right.
Thank you.
My pleasure. I love sports.
But the thing is, I'm farming there. I don't want you there.
Is it like a men's league that you play in?
Yes, it's like 35.
See, I'm really good at ice hockey, and I'm terrible at soccer, but it still sounds fun.
Yeah, we just play just to have fun.
Yeah, stay loose, not break a leg.
Exactly.
Recording. Oh.